he had a Dear John letter from his lady love saying that she was thinking about calling it quits on him. It's the least I could do for my buddy. When nobody waiting on me on the outside.
So my psychic says that Brennan and Booth are linked in a very profound way. In order to eat that thing, you're going to have to dislocate your jaw like an articulated python.
Yeah. Tell me, though, have you noticed any behavioral changes in Booth since he woke up from the coma?
He's not as happy-go-lucky as he used to be. It's like he's sort of sad.
Well, perhaps the brain tumor forced him to confront his own mortality.
Booth's confronted his mortality plenty of times. I think that dream he had about him and Brennan being married, I think that he sort of misses that dream. It's like he's homesick for that place and those people.
You think Booth fell in love with Dr. Brennan during a dream?
So do you. Right?
Well, I'm a psychiatrist. I'm not comfortable with answering.
No. You're a chef.
I am. As usual, you see the truth of things. Oh, look, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It's the most ill-conceived, sapless, vomitous gargoyle of gastronymity I've ever encountered. It's preposterous. You can't...
You know, you're really going to have to learn to enjoy things the way that they are.
No, perhaps I'm right.
The remains were covered with 150 years worth of rubble. That's a word I loathe.
Half-naked dwarf wrestler gets killed and his body gets dumped in some old hole in the ground?
Well, most of what he was buried in and what I found around the remains was tile. Translucent, ceramic, vitreous, dating back to the 1920s.
What was that, some kind of Turkish bath?
Nah, it's a pedestrian underpass here. It collapsed in the 30s. They just threw some rocks into it and paved it over.
Wait a second. So what you're saying is you think that the leprechaun's body was in that pedestrian underpass when the sinkhole happened?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a guy his size, there could have been a way through it, especially with some digging. That would have stretched from here underground to approximately the other side of the street, and then maybe another 20 feet east.
Cash for gold.
3 months ago, this place got robbed. No sign of forced entry to the doors or windows. Alarm was cut from the inside. Bad guys got off with bags of gold coins.
Well, we think the robber may have been the victim in your sinkhole.
Oh, I'll be damned. The owners of this place will be glad to hear that. Fraud unit suspected it was an inside job.
How much did they lose?
120 grand worth.
I think I found the point of ingress.
Whoa. You gotta be kidding. Just thinking about it, I can't breathe.
Yeah, the Angela's sketch shows the collapsed pedestrian walkway comes 5 feet from this drain.
The victim was small and strong. He could have dug his way through.
That's gotta be what, 16, 18 inches? Honestly, I can't breathe. I got anxiety thinking about a guy down there.
Come on, Buns. There's no way the victim can get his shoulders through there.
He could have made it. Mostly naked in his Lycra shorts. We may even find a container of lubricant down there.
Well, all we found were 8 gold coins.
Oh, yeah. Classic accomplice rip-off scenario. No honor between thieves. What, I'm not allowed to chime in? I'm a law enforcement professional.
The only markings we know for sure came from before the sinkhole are these 3 little nicks on his ribs.
Could he have been stabbed?
With what?
The world's dullest knife.
Well, perhaps something along the lines of a very dull hatchet.
To a little person, a hatchet would be the equivalent of an axe. I mean, assuming the accomplice was already lying in wait, surely he would have had the forethought to bring a more suitable weapon.
Like a gun.
Or a giant sword. Or a gun. But the killer would have had to have been an incredibly bad shot to merely graze his or her victim 3 times in such tight quarters. Oh, I see. If he was reaching forward.
More wrenched.
Or if he was actually hanging from his arm and the killer shot down from this angle.
1 bullet fired from above, grazing these 3 ribs, deflecting, piercing the diaphragm.
And of course, as an achondroplastic dwarf, his organs would be more tightly jammed together than an average person.
This would be his liver.
He'd have bled to death in minutes.
We found cause of death.
Yeah, there's some collateral damage to Booth's brain here.
It would result in the memory lapses, yeah, but it doesn't explain any of his other symptoms.
Ah, but I don't think Booth has brain damage.
Then what's his problem?
May I ask why you didn't publish your book on Booth and Brennan?
What, is there a connection between my book and Booth's marksmanship?
I believe you didn't publish it because you're afraid of how Brennan and Booth would react to its conclusion.
My book concludes that Brennan and Booth are in love with each other.
It's a scrummy conundrum, isn't it?
I believe that as a reaction to the childhood traumas of abuse and abandonment, Dr. Brennan utilizes her intellect to armor herself from intense levels of emotion like love.
And Booth?
Well, subconsciously, he's sensitive to her vulnerability. He knows that acting upon his feelings for her would amount to a kind of assault.
I couldn't agree with you more.
So, Booth not shooting straight is simply, what, a manifestation of his phallic frustration?
Yeah, he quite literally can't bring his weapon to bear.
Do I even have the right to publish my book and make public what these two can't even admit to themselves?
Oh, good Lord. Don't ask me. I'm just a chef, not a psychiatrist. I gave up that game precisely so I don't have to face that kind of dilemma.
We do know that Hodgins found a .22 pistol near the body. It was fully loaded.
It hadn't been discharged.
Yeah, I know that, Bones. Okay, I do work for the FBI.
So, has Gordon helped you at all with your shooting problem?
He doesn't see it as a problem.
And maybe you don't have one. Have you ever considered the possibility that you might simply be getting older? Men do tend to decline physically past the age of 35.
Remind me again how great I feel after talking to you.
Well, who else would always tell you the truth?
Yeah, you know, it does make me feel better. You know, it makes no rational sense, but it does.
Maybe I should start packing heat again.
Packing heat?
Yes, it's a colloquialism. I'm quite a good shot.
Hey, if the leprechaun was shot, then where would the bullet be?
Well, I assume somewhere in the 6 tons of crap Hodgins hasn't sifted through yet.
Wait a second. Did you just call forensic evidence crap?
Colloquial again. What do you think?
This is very nice. I like it, and it shows that you're adapting.
Well, I'm working on it and joshing around, too.
Bryce and I had a thing. He wears that hot FBI agent guy. If I'm going to be interrogated, I want it to be from him.
That sweet little pistol you owned that went missing, was this it?
Is that the gun that was used to kill Bryce?